It's terrible. I didn't know how to stop it, guys. I wanted a cool countdown. I didn't know how to stop it. Hey, guys, it's 5:34. We're getting back to the 5:32 start time, but we're a little bit late today. It's the Hybrid Live Show presented by Speed Labs. With me in his comfy chair, in his Canadian tuxedo backdrop of his chair there.
No, it's just a video game chair. No plaid.
Oh, it looks like plaid from there.
If someone wants to send me a plaid chair, they can. I would be completely down with that.
Well, welcome to the show, Dave.
Thank you.
Almost on time, says Houston Texans 94. Thanks for always being with us.
It's really close.
We typically have a list, like an agenda that we loosely refer to. And today we're going to be completely transparent and say we're just going to kind of roll and see how it goes. But you know what I remember just before I hit record, Dave? You and I used to record every bloody week about OCR. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we just talked about we talked about like my failings at fixing stuff in the house, or we just kind of rolled with it. It was a really good show. So I don't think we should worry about it, is what I'm saying.
How I feel in Canada right now, down in Georgia. Oh yeah. Heather's got snow.
Yeah, we can talk about the snow, but you know what I'm saying? Like we can take the pressure off ourselves.
I have something to talk about because I have really bad DOMs.
Oh, okay. You want to start there? Or can we cover the snow though, since Heather mentioned it?
Here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
There is snow.
Well, you can still see a little bit of it out my window. We don't get snow here. And when it does, it's a big deal. So they said, hey, it's coming. And so the kids were off school on Friday, and we actually got, because sometimes it literally doesn't even stick, and it's really sad. It's just, you see some flakes, but it doesn't even stick. But we got, I think 2 inches, maybe it was 4, enough to build a snowman. And good day from Reno. Welcome, buddy. They didn't have snow.
I will say this. I used to, and a lot of Canadians do this, we used to make fun, like when we'd see snow in Texas and everybody's crashing into each other,
right,
and all that stuff. I don't do that anymore because I have come to understand just how bad it can be when you live in an area that is not prepared for snow. Like, for example, like when we build our houses, we don't have water pipes going up exterior walls because they'll freeze. So all the water pipes go up interior walls. So like just things like that. You don't have. So I'm actually much more sympathetic now.
Well, thank you.
In my old age, I've become more mature and sympathetic, and I get how it could be really, really troublesome.
Well, it really is. And typically, people buy all the milk and bread. My wife went to the store for something, and she was like, honey, it was like COVID again. Like the meat was like empty, like all the way down. And we knew it was only going to last 2 days. So why people buy that much meat, I don't know, but they really thought they better stock up on meat, I guess, and everything else. So it was perfect though, because it lasted enough that my kids got to experience it. If you live in Georgia, you might not see it again for 5 or 6 years. I mean, the big snowpocalypse, that was 10 years ago. I think it's might have snowed once or twice since then. But my son, I was here working away on Friday, getting some stuff done, just typing away here. And my son was like, do you want to come out and build a snowman with me? And I was like in the middle of doing a lot of stuff. And I was like, I'll do it later. And then like 30 minutes went by and I thought, I'm going to be my deathbed and be kicking myself, be like, my son asked me to build a snowman with him and I didn't do it. So we went out and built a very sad snowman because it wasn't that much snow, but we did it. And I'm so happy that we did. And took a couple of bad pictures. You want to say, hey, River? And then the boys played a little bit in it. River just waved.
That's
audio listeners. But then I have this Run the ATL I put on a couple times a year, and I did not want to move it because I'm not really equipped to do that. It's like you move it to the next week, and then people are like, I already have something, and then I got to give refunds and whole thing that I'm not prepared to do. Right? It's just like this fly seated by pants race company that I do. So by Saturday, by Saturday afternoon, the roads weren't not as bad, and so it's like we're having the race Sunday morning. I did push it from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. So we started with a 29-degree F start, which is the coldest run the ATL we've ever had, and people were running and crunching on snow, and and they made videos about it. And it was super cool, and it turned out to be a great time. Half the people didn't show up; that's their loss. But it was a really great time. People ran around Atlanta and got to experience snow, and it was super cool.
So just comparable. You said you got a couple inches. In my front yard, I have 4-foot high snowdrifts.
Right.
And we haven't had a bad snow. It's just from shoveling the driveway, right? It piles up so high. But like the grass, like over the grass itself, we're talking probably about a foot, somewhere around there. And that'll
Right.
be there. That'll be there all year. But I like what Heather, and this is something that I actually used to ask. So Heather said she still needs her 4-wheel drive to get in and out of her driveway because of the snow. I don't know why people in like Florida have 4-wheel drive trucks. Like, unless you're going off road, cool. That's great. That's
Maybe they're going
awesome.
mudding, Dave. Maybe they're
No,
going
they're
mudding.
not. They're getting groceries.
Well, why does anybody own a Yukon or anything if
So
they don't live in
here you need a 4-wheel drive.
No, but
here
I'm saying, but why does people all over the world drive, these things?
Oh, I don't know. You want my hot take on that?
Well, they drive what we like to call, guess what, Dave? Guess what they're
What?
call? What kind of cars they are?
SUVs?
Or
Or
if it's not quite an SUV, it's a
I don't know, a minivan?
it's a hybrid. It's like
Oh,
between
hybrid.
it's
No,
like between
the hybrid you need to have the half
No, that's the
electric.
new. That's the half electrical, half
Oh,
gas.
okay.
But hybrid, like, oh, is it an SUV? No, it's a hybrid. It's like,
Okay.
like we have a Honda Pilot, or there's the Mazda, all the different versions of not quite a 4-wheel drive thing, and not quite a car.
You ready for my hot take?
Not quite a car, not quite a truck. That's what I'm looking for.
My
What is your hot take, Dave?
My hot take is all small SUVs are just bad minivans.
Well, there you go.
They're just
We
bad.
we had a minivan. We had that
Minivans
third
are
kid and was
awesome.
like, have to have a minivan. But then it was like, now we need 3 rows. And so that's when we went with the Honda Pilot, which we quite love.
Didn't your minivan have 3 rows?
Sorry, I phrased that wrong. The minivan had 1, 2. Yes, but I mean we wanted no, I'm saying we still wanted 3 rows. Like we wanted to get away from a van because we kind of hate the van, and you don't.
That's just terrible thinking. Vans are awesome. Gianna's right. Yeah, if you need your snow for driving through the snow in the forest, that's cool. I'm down with that, T.
For the 4th?
Forest.
Oh, I think you said the 4th, like the 4th of July.
Forest. I just said it fast. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, where was
what
I?
you want to say is minivans are completely underrated.
No, I was pretty. I mean, I was pretty sick of it. It was like an older van, and it was just we weren't. And then like this car is old. This is a 10-year-old Pilot, but it's. I mean, I remember I came on the show and talked about it. I said this car is amazing. Like 10 years ago, it has all the cool things that like the navigation that you would never use. But
yes,
do you know how long it took me to figure out just to change the clock on that thing? By the way, every time the seasons change and I forget, I have to Google it. Because it's not very obvious.
I have 2 vehicles that are considered incredibly unreliable, and both are incredibly reliable for me.
Which ones?
I have a Dodge Caravan.
Okay.
That's my minivan. And I have a Fiat 500.
Okay.
And they both work awesome.
Who says Dodge Caravans aren't good?
Oh, yeah. A lot of people say Dodge is unreliable.
Well, it used to be that you never wanted to buy an American car, but apparently they got better at it, or they all build them in the same shop anyway.
I think I don't not all built in the same shop, but all cars are very similar. Anyway, yeah. Yeah. So minivans are awesome. Everybody agrees.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm the world's only minivan enthusiast.
That's my impression of you, Dave. Yeah. Okay.
That's good.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. All right.
I don't think you'll make a lot of money with that impression. Not enough people care about me.
I thought that was dead on.
It was good. It's just nobody cares.
No, people. Eden cares. Houston Texans 94 cares.
Yeah. Speaking of people in comments and stuff, I had a really awesome, I don't know, I wouldn't call it maybe debate, conversation with oh my god. Where did he go? I actually gapped on his name. Anyway, we had an awesome conversation about Tiatumi.
You and I know who it was.
Who was it?
Well, first of all, he said, Matt, let me know when you want to come on the show. And Dave and I are going to debate Tiatumi. And I was like, awesome, I'll save it. And then he's like, no, we're already talking. And I'm like, well, we should save the debate. Hot debate.
Todd.
Yeah, Cholos. Yes.
Cholos, yeah.
Frequent commenter. He's given on the coffee. Dude, big fan of Todd Cholos.
Great points, great debate. And he gave hope for me in humanity when someone can have an intelligent and respectful debate online.
Yeah.
And it was just fantastic. So thank you, Todd. I really appreciate that. It was awesome.
Well, I have to put you on pause because I have to put noodles in the pot. Stacy has a client now. It's a whole new world. Stacy's.
All right. I will engage you and comment people while you're gone.
Well, but first I want to say I have to publicly shame my son because I said, Jackson, can you please help? I'm going to be on this call. Can you please? Because I know he can do it. He's actually a pretty good cook. And he's like, oh, I don't want to. I'm like, all right. So I'm not going to fight about it. So I'm going to go I'll be back.
All right. So when Matt's gone, first off, Eden, I love it when people experience snow tires for the first time. Yeah, that's great. I don't know where you guys are, but when I was a kid and we learned to drive in the snow, what my old man did is he'd take us to the parking lot covered in snow and we'd have to do donuts. And we'd have to learn how to do donuts so that we could figure out how to get back out of them. But, we also grew up on the farm, so we knew how to drive everything on the farm tractors and whatnot. Who else do we have here? Yeah, Cheryl, he was trying to impress me with the snow stuff, trying to act cool, but we know better. He's just not prepared. What else? So, I don't know. I was going to wait for Matt to tell my stuff about why I have DOMs, and maybe I still should. What else is going on here? Almost on time. Yeah. You know what? He was going to be on time today. He was going to be at 5:32. And then I think he kept playing with some settings or something. It's just the way it is. Hey, Shiz, how's it going, man? Matt's on a walkabout. He's putting noodles in a pot, which, there you go. Noodles are now in the pot.
And I have to get up in 2 to 3 minutes to then take them out of said pot and put it on a fucking plate.
Well, you have to strain it, right?
Well, yes, and I will definitely. Shiz says, "What's up, guys?"
All right. Do you want to know why I have DOMs?
You have Down syndrome?
DOMs, not Down syndrome. Jeez, that's not good. No, DOMs.
Dom Irera, the comedian?
Never heard of that guy.
Okay.
Yeah. So this weekend, Atlanta definitely can handle snow. There you go. Good stuff. This weekend, so Sunday, actually, yesterday, we had what they were calling a HYROX Strong at Maria Fetchick's and Mike Fetchick's gym.
Okay.
That's something that I've been clamoring for forever, is someone to just do a HYROX event with no running.
Right.
Which I don't think we should call it HYROX Strong anymore, though. I think it should be just called Hard Rocks. Because
I kind of like that. I like that too.
Nobody's using that because we get the half rocks and then we get hard rocks. Anyway, premise was basically, you go, you do all the zones, no running in between, and you just head through it. They had both pro weights and open weights. I got the email after I signed up, and I thought it said my start time was 9 o'clock. Apparently, there was a subsequent email that was more accurate about exactly when your start time was.
Okay.
I chose not to engage in this email.
Right.
Either I didn't get it or I didn't notice or whatever. I didn't see it. So my start time was actually 8:45.
Okay.
I got to the gym at 8:42.
Okay. So and you had to go? Like they wouldn't let you start late?
No. Because the way they're doing the timing, and this is great. And I don't blame them one bit. This is the way it should be done. This is if you're late, that's on you, man. You do it. See, TT likes HYROX. You're on time. That's when your wave goes. That's on you. If you're late, that's your problem. And I'm totally on board with that. So I had 3 minutes to get changed and get ready and be gone. So I kind of missed the start by, I don't know, like 15, 20 seconds or something like that. So I get on there and I jump on the ski erg and I'm actually beside my buddy Mike and skiing away. I got one shoe tied up. I don't have my knee sleeves on. They're down around my calves. I'm kind of just going and we just cruise along. And then I go to the sled afterwards, tie up my shoe, but didn't do a good job. So it fell off during the sled. That was fine. Then we got it tied back on. Tell us how to warm up. You have 3 minutes. Oh, there you go.
So you are literally back to reading every single comment now, Dave. I love it.
Well, that's what I'm doing. You went away. I had to read comments. So, so then I went to got the sled done, did the burpees, retied my shoe, retied my shoe, finished the sled, finished the burpees, got on the rower, both laces come undone on the rower, finished the rower, tie them both, farmers carry lunges, and did the wobbles. Anyway, had a great time chasing my buddy Mike the whole time. We had a blast. We have some videos on Instagram. We spent most of the time talking to each other anyway. Neither one of us probably went as hard
Mike Fetchick?
No, this is Mike Waller. He's actually Mike Zurich is Chelsea Grant's husband.
Okay.
So we had a great time. And it was really well done. And I just thought afterwards, I'm like, this is something HYROX should do.
Well, I hang on. More thoughts on that. I have to now. Can you hear the cat? I have to let the cat out. I got to stir these noodles. We're really a mess today, guys. Thanks for rolling with us. Dave will read more comments.
So, while Matt goes and lets out the cat and plays with Noodles or whatever, I don't even know. Maybe Noodles is a cat's name. It should be. Tell me something if you want on there. If you think that HYROX is ready to add a different event, so we have solos, we have doubles, we have relay. Is it time, and is the community ready to jump onto another event like a HYROX? Personally, I think they are. I think they're going well enough that adding something like that would really help. So let me know in the comments if you think it would be good. When I finished the rest of that event, when I finished it afterwards, I thought this was so cool, and it was so simple, and they should really reach into the gyms for it. Tell us about warming up, Dave. Overrated. She gets mad because I keep the house at like 18 degrees. So full weight and distances for exercises. Yes, it was full weight, full distances. And what really hit you hard was the sleds, because it literally, you could do back-to-back. They did back-to-back sleds. Now, you could have done it push for 50, pull for 50. They actually kind of mixed the push and pull together, but you did go 100 meters. So it was back-to-back in the sleds, and that was grueling. So that was good. But I did like I said, they didn't half it. They went full distances, and I love that. If you're telling for ages so people cannot run, they should always have done it. DEKA does it better again. I don't know. Yeah, I get it. I'm not trying to throw a comparison out. I just think that I think it would be something they're ready for. Nope, keep it a track event. If it's not going to change, then why not stay pure to the concept? I think it's still pure to the concept. You're still doing the same things. You're just changing the distance. It'd be like adding an ultra one. Probably does better than at least I think it would be like adding an ultra one. I think it would be all right. I think it would still be pure to the concept. It's not changing the order. It's not changing the zones. It's not changing the distance of the stations themselves. I think it'd be all right. Probably does better than a Go Ruck division. That kind of shiz. I think you're probably right. Unfortunately, I like the Go Ruck division. I wish they'd bring it back. Maybe you do a Go Ruck division without the running, and you'd still have some running. Because I mean, like if you run the first lap, go in on your first time around the arch, and then just run through the rock zone through each one. So there'd be a little bit of running. Then question, not as a main event. All right.
So you guys see you're engaging the people.
This is what I do. It would
appreciate that.
Feel like a HYROX. I think so too, Cheryl.
So yeah. So I was having this chat with Ian K the other day. They are so committed to why would we ever change? You compare times. You don't change a marathon. Blah 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 blah. And I will say that I never thought Tough Mudder would ever change, and they would have told you Tough Mudder was never going to change. We're a 10-mile race. We're not competitive. And then in 2017, they're like, guess what? We're timing. And guess what? We're now going to add a 5K or 15K. So they're still growing so much that they don't have to do anything different. At some point, wherever that leveling off point is, they're like, we're not getting as many return customers. We're like to get new people. It's the same thing that Spartan said, same thing that Mutter said, and that a HYROX is coming or something that they can figure out the same day or a different day. Sunday is the half day, whatever. So one day it's coming. I just don't know when. That's my prediction.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. And like a lot of people, and sorry, Dean pointed out something, and he is right about the the hard rocks that I did on the weekend. The weights were for the pull weight, not the pull weight, because it mixed it both together. So they were a little light on the push. Because the weights were for the
did you mention what your time was?
My time was 30 minutes and 20 seconds. And
did they give out awards or mentions, or was it just go look at the leaderboard and you're done?
I think they did do some prizes for the first place people
Okay.
and stuff. So it was a competition. Was it a hardcore competition? No, but it could be. It could be done in a way that it was. I think for this being the first time they did it, I think they did it really well. I didn't have any complaints. My time probably could have been a little better if I had, I don't know, warmed up, tied my shoes, showed up on time. Any of those things would have helped. But I was happy with it. I didn't feel I did horrible. Um, Talking about changing the running for bikes, I don't mind that idea. The problem is HYROX would never implement that because the amount of bikes you would need would be astronomical. You know, you could maybe do it where you bought in at the beginning with a bike and then bought out and then cashed out at the end. But you know, in concept or on a smaller gym event, maybe. But otherwise, I think that'd be really hard logistically. But I would like it. I love the bike. I'm down with that. But yeah, this, as far as a gym event, was really cool and easy for any gym to put on. You don't even, you don't. I think it might be one of the easiest things for a small gym to put on.
Was there a cost?
Yeah, it's like $30.
Was there a patch?
There was no patch. No,
Okay.
no. I could use a patch too.
I'm not saying you have to. I'm just sort of trying to get, because we had this whole conversation about, is a PFT worth it and all that stuff. So
yeah, and I still think a PFT is worth it. But this patch, I think, yeah, and they did give us a patch when we did the HYROX there too. So Maria, I'm gonna hound you for some patches here. I might even just make my own up and just give it to myself.
Well, speaking of gym events, have you seen the amazing new hybrid fitness media events calendar that we've now made?
Hybrid, I have not.
Well, it looks really good on the mobile, and so I want to pull it up on the mobile, which is how most people will see it. It doesn't look nearly as good here. Let me do this. Wait till you see this fucking thing, Dave, that I spent most of my day on. This is what I think I did most of the day Saturday, or maybe it was Friday. I've lost track, but I feel like a real web editor now because I remember when I was making a video, one of the first times I started editing video on Final Cut, and my buddy Jeff, had always been helping me and like taught me how to do it, I spent an entire day on something and lost it. Like just lost it. One of those things that's like just gone. And he said, well, congratulations, like you broke your chain. Now you're a real video editor. So I feel like I spent all day on this, Dave. I'll let you peek a little bit behind the curtain and show you. Let's do a little screen share. Is it good, River? Yeah. Oh, it doesn't. You're seeing this thing. Can we move this thing over?
I don't know.
Let's see if we can. How can we do this?
There you go. Like Dean says, we had first place prize mugs.
So okay.
HYROX strong mugs. Oh, they were labeled too. Now I'll never get them to change the name.
I want to close that. Can we close that? No, we can't. Motherfucker. All right, so here's the mobile version, right? So you see this right here. First thing you see, featured event right here.
Yep.
So they've paid for this. You can pay to have your gym event on here, and you can pay to have it featured. Super cool, right?
And that's that stairway to HYROX you talked about before.
Right. So look at this: North America, United Kingdom, Europe, Asia, Oceania. What if I want to go straight to the United Kingdom events? Bam! Oh shit, I can't do it on here. Damn it!
Good try though. Good try.
Oh, dude. Well, if you do it, it goes straight to the UK events, right? And then they're listed by country, right? Pretty rad.
Not bad.
Every single country in Europe. It's the entire world. And anyway, I fucked with it forever. And like those, it's a pretty simple. Those people that know how to build websites, it's pretty simple to teach something to like touch this and it jumps to it. It's not that hard, but it's one of those things that every time I did it, it would break, and then I would refix it and it would break. And then I was like, oh, why don't I add flags? And I had like little America flags and little Europe flag. Anyway, I spent all day on this fucking thing, but it looks great. And if you're a gym owner and you want to be featured on this calendar, $25 a month for your event. And then we'll talk about if you want to pay more to be featured, that kind of thing. And that way, when people are looking for DEKA events in your area, besides the DEKA page, you might get found through me. And the more people are on it, it just kind of becomes the go-to place. So we're going to be that. We're going to be the go-to. This is what I thought we could do when I first started the site a year and a half ago, but now I think we've got enough sort of traffic behind it that we
But
can do that.
you're putting like every event up there, not just
So
paid
right now it's the big ones. Like the big ones go on there anyway.
Hmm.
HYROX, DEKA, Ethics, right? Deadly Dozen. But if you have an event, right? Like if you have a gym event, your DEKA Strong, your HYROX, whatever, your Stairway to HYROX, you can pay $25 a month. And if you have 4 events, like an event in the next 3 months, like you can put every event on there. You're only paying for the month, not per event. There you go.
There you go. There you go.
So
I know there's something cool coming in Quebec soon that I'm going to do an interview coming up about. Quebec, much like oftentimes with OCR, is ahead of the curve in Canada.
Right.
And someone is putting together a full HYROX series in Quebec.
A full HYROX series? What is a full HYROX series?
It's like a series of full-length HYROXes throughout Quebec. And it's not like the main company coming through. It's like an affiliate putting all these on.
They can do that?
They can.
Okay, so it's not HYROX Canada, but they're actual HYROX events.
They are
8 stations, 8 runs.
Just like when a regular event puts on a half rocks, like when a gym puts on a half rocks, right?
Right.
And like the one I just did, it's the same concept, but they're putting on a full-length event.
How is that possible?
What do you mean?
Because they already have it in place that if you want to be the person in Canada or be the person in China or be the person in whatever, you can do that, or Matt in Australia. So if they already have HYROX North America putting on HYROX Canada, how can they have someone else putting on HYROX Canada?
Because these are just gym affiliates who are HYROX affiliate gyms putting on essentially a bigger gym events.
Okay. Does anybody understand what I'm asking in the comments?
I know what you're saying, but I understand.
This is like what you're saying to me. So there's another marathon, and it's going to be called the New York City Marathon, but it's not put on by the New York City Marathon, but it's just going to be 26.2 miles throughout the boroughs. But somebody else is doing it, but it's still called New York City Marathon. That's what it's like you're saying.
I'm saying exactly like that, except that the people putting that on have paid to be an affiliate of the New York City Marathon.
Right, but no one would do that. Like that wouldn't make any sense, though, to do that.
But see, it does for this make sense because they're filling a void where people want more events, so they're putting them on. It's above board. It's no different than if they did it just as half rocks, but they're going full distance.
I get that it's above board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that there is no such thing as an affiliate putting on an event. There's either a HYROX event or there's not a HYROX event.
So then what do you call it when the affiliates put on a competition?
Well, so far you could. So I just said, who did I say this to the other day? I said this to the guys, to Kalipa and those guys. Okay. If I own a gym, right, I'll put on my own half rocks and charge for it because HYROX is only coming to Atlanta once a year. So I'll put on 3 or 4 of these half rockses, but I can't put on a whole HYROX because that's called a HYROX, and you need a fucking convention center for it.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, that's what they're doing.
Okay.
I'm
seeing no comments right now. Somebody else
have like 40,
chime in.
They're not going to have like 40 skiers or something. It'll probably be like
besides someone that lives with Dave. Someone else chime in. Damn it!
People buy the tickets. It makes sense. See, there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Yeadon's right.
Okay, so you can't qualify for Worlds.
No, it's their own little series.
Okay, so then here's the question. It's not a sim. Someone said so. It's a sim. It's not a sim. It's a race.
It's a sim, but essentially you'll be racing other people.
Okay, yeah. So let me. I
don't have all the information.
So I'm clear, by the way.
I don't have all the information, but it is coming.
I listened back to our episode, and the last one we did, and I feel like I do a bad job explaining myself sometimes. Like I feel like when we were talking about the, I almost called it the PFT, the WFP, you were defending it in a way that made it sound like I said there's no reason this is going to work at all. And I was just saying it might not work because a lot of leagues start up with good ideas. So just like this, I am not saying they shouldn't do it, they can't do it. I'm just saying I don't understand why HYROX would let them because it might confuse their customer. That's all.
Yeah, and that I don't that's something only HYROX can answer. I know that normally.
No, he's saying unsanctioned. No, it's clearly sanctioned. That's why I'm saying, why would HYROX let them sanction an event if a stranger finds it And then he shows up and he's like, this is what I've seen on the website. Where's my white banner for winning? All those things. That's why I think they shouldn't maybe let people do that. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and again, that'll be stuff that we'll find out a little more when I get to talk to the people running it.
Okay. All right, get them on the show and clarify.
Yes, as of right now, what I know is that they're putting on a series of full-length HYROX races in Quebec, but they are not and to reiterate what Eugene says, you cannot qualify for World Championship. You will not go on the official HYROX leaderboard, as far as I know. These are in separate events.
All right, Zach is chiming in. We got somebody from Underdog chiming in.
Yeah, and so he says from his experience, he doesn't think that
I'm pretty sure you're not allowed, because when we had a meeting with them, they said we couldn't do a full. Now that's about as clear as whatever. I mean, but I trust. It's not that I don't trust you, but you're saying I'm pretty sure. Zach, find out. Go look up.
Well, no, Zach is saying he's pretty sure they won't be allowed, but I believe Zach was told during that meeting that they would not be allowed to do it, because otherwise they would have probably done a full one. But so I get that. So it's just, this is what I'm getting, and like I said, this is on Instagram. This isn't just me talking hearsay.
No, I believe you. I just think it's a possible harm to the brand that they're worried about. I'm all for more people doing it, but it seems like they would say, cool, if you want to do that, buy this thing called the license, and you'll now be the Quebec licensee, and you'll put on those events, and we'll support you, and you'll be on the website, but not put on. So all right, so this is Pinnacle is chiming in with the same thing. So I'm very curious to find out.
All right, well, we'll see how it goes. So
we got three.
Well,
two gym owners.
Zach and Pinnacle. So I'm gonna see.
Where's Pinnacle? Pinnacle, where are you? Fairfield. Fairfield, what? Ohio? Iowa? And do you want to be on the amazing new hybrid fitness calendar, Pinnafield Fitness, and pay $25 a month? A measly $25 a month to help grow the sport and be a one-stop shop for all cool HYROX and DEKA and Deadly Dozen.
That's right.
Zach tried in Niagara Falls. Slowly I turned, step by step. Does anybody even know that reference anymore, Dave?
I don't think so.
Do you know that reference?
Slowly I turned, step by step.
Niagara Falls. Slowly I turned.
No, I do not know that.
Step by step, inch by inch. I will give $1 on Venmo to the first person that knows that reference without cheating, without ChatGPTing it. Northern California.
There you go.
What are you closest to, Pinnacle? What towns are you closest to? I feel like we've spoken before. Are you close to Sacramento? Are you spoke to Oakland? Are you close to San Jose, Cupertino, Fresno? I'm just going to keep naming towns. Dave is very quickly typing this guy and saying, "Why did you tell us that?"
Oh no, I'm not typing the guy. I'm trying to find the page, because they have a page.
Definitely better than $25 for a Facebook post. I'll give you a Facebook post too. Three Stooges. Now, question: Martin Loftus. Did you just be honest, Martin?
Whoa. Okay, hold on. I am wrong. I apologize completely.
Oh my God! Thank God I said something.
It is half. It is half.
Dave, I'm so glad. I was happy to help.
100% apologize. It is half. All right. So they're doing a series of HYROXes across.
Riley, do you want to apologize to me now? Damn it.
Hell no, she will never apologize.
Right.
Nor should she.
I know you never want to come on the show, but when I see you in person.
Yeah. So yeah, that was on me. But yeah, and I swear somewhere I'd heard that. But that was my mistake.
Well, listen.
So, yeah, they're doing a series of HYROX.
Listen, I just really hope people didn't shut off the show too soon. What if they shut off the show and like, I'm going to Quebec, and they got in their car and they're headed there right now, Dave?
Great. That's awesome. Come to Quebec.
Martin Loftus, just be honest. Did you Google that or not? Did you Google Three Stooges or not? Because I know, Dave, you are old as me.
I know the Three Stooges, but I don't know that. I didn't know that reference. So for Niagara Falls, but I know the Three Stooges.
The Three Stooges were on in black and white. We watched black and white shows when I was a kid. How embarrassing is that to say?
I remember. I
just watched a great comedy bit. HYROX is better than whole rocks. I agree.
Yeah, you do.
It's the size of the ocean. It's not the motion of the size. This guy said this great thing. There's obviously a lot of comedy and a lot of, Instagram posts about like, oh, you never did this, you never did that. And the guy said his point was about like, we didn't call it mindfulness. We just called it like sitting there doing nothing. Mm-hmm. And he's like, Yeah, like if you went to the bathroom, you just went to the bathroom, right? If you were waiting for a ride, you just were waiting. Like if you were on a bus and it was raining, you were just looking at raindrops. Like that's all you could do. He's like, you had to, before you returned the tape to the store, you had to sit there and wait for the tape to rewind. And he's like, you've never rewinded anything in your life. You're a generation that has not rewinded. And I think that explains it all. Just like my kids will never have to rewind anything. And there you go. That's an entire generational difference. That's like, my grandparents fought in World War I and II, right? My kids and their grandkids will never have to rewind.
There you go.
I don't apologize, she said. 68. Does that mean that's when you were born, Martin, was 68?
Yeah. He's older than me.
All right. He's ill. I think he's also old. Well, listen, Dave, I have now spared you the embarrassment of saying that.
I make mistakes all the time. I don't care.
Well, listen, Cheryl definitely knows. Cheryl, did you watch Three Stooges and or The Little Rascals? Trying to think what other black and white shows there were out that were still, there was a few vestiges of some black and white left. There was Andy Griffith, right? Do you remember anything else?
Probably none of those shows were like politically correct enough to be played right now.
Andy Griffith, definitely not.
No, the other ones, Little Rascals, definitely not.
Definitely not Little Rascals. No.
What drives me nuts about kids these days is they can't drive manual transmissions.
Zach says he was in the beginning doing a full Dave. You're not wrong. Must have been told to change. So he did launch it. He did launch it.
I was still wrong, but at least I didn't imagine the thing of why I was wrong.
Right. So he might have thought that the first time you talked, and since then,
yeah.
You've been told it is no longer full rocks.
Well, you know what? I agree with Ryan. I think it's better anyway.
Yeah, the Stooges were never funny to me either. It was like, why are we watching these men just hit each other? Like, I don't know that they were ever funny. I don't think I laughed once. I didn't laugh at the Little Rascals either, but you just watched them because they were on.
Well, you only had 3 channels.
That's actually why. Except we had the they were on the bottom part of the dial. Three Stooges and that was at the bottom part of the dial.
We had 3 channels. We had pick, choose, and choose in French.
Really?
Those were our 3 channels. Yeah.
Didn't you have the Canadian version of BBC?
No, like for the most times until cable was a popular thing, you had CBC, CTV, and then CBC in French.
Did I hear you guys were going to be purchased by America? Is there any truth to that rumor, Dave?
No. 51st state? No. You guys are going to be 11th province. No.
Of Canada.
Tell you what, we'll take Alaska. Just give us Alaska.
Okay. You can have you can have parts of what we should just give you also. We'll just give you like Washington, Oregon too, right? That's pretty. You can have that.
Those. I like all them northern places. I'll be honest. I'm a fan of the states. I'll take it all. We'll take it all. But yeah, Alaska's where all the money is. We want that.
Did you marry 2 Americans or just 1 American?
Just 1.
Okay.
Pretty sure it's illegal to marry 2.
You had to think about it. Well, I thought maybe your first wife was American.
No. Just my best wife.
Okay. The current and best.
Yeah.
Where did he say he was near? You were near. Where did it go?
I think he said Napa.
Oh yeah, near Napa. All right. Next topic, Dave. It looks like.
Well, I started one while you were gone, but you didn't get a chance to weigh in on it.
Go ahead.
And that was when I was talking about the HYROX, which it won't catch on because they already made mugs that said HYROX strong. So anyway, is HYROX ready to bring in a different length of an event like that? Is it a good time to do that, or is it not a good time to do that, or should they not bother?
Did I already say it's coming? A different distance is
You said it was coming, but do you think it's a good idea? Like, is now the time? If it was up to you, would you do it now? And what would you do? What event would you do? Would you do an event like this, or would you do something different?
Well, it's interesting because I guess what we'd need to do is do like a finish line. What do you call it? Exit report, because the relay is popular, right?
Yeah,
and some places more popular than others. So the question would be, did you do this because you wanted to do something, just because you wanted to do a gym event with your friends? Was it because the whole rocks intimidated you? Right? Like, what were the reasons you signed up? Because if they think we don't need to do a half because we have the relay, or we have doubles, which is still all the running, but you're only doing half the work. Like, if they think they need to, right?
See, I look at it this one with the HYROX Strong as the other direction of not necessarily doing something easier, but doing something that appeals to a different brand of people, i.e., the people who don't like to run. Because in the beginning, and I've said this many times, I used to hear people say, "Oh, I'm nervous to do HYROX because the sleds are so heavy." I don't hear that much anymore. Now I hear, "I don't really want to do it," and not from a ton of people, but people who say they don't want to do it. I don't want to do that because that's a lot of running.
Right. And
so this would allow them to have a full experience of doing all the stations, right? And that's the problem where they say, "Oh, well, the relay, we have the relay and the entry and the doubles." Well, if I do a relay, yeah, it's not as much running, but I don't get to do all the zones. So I miss out on that. And I want to do all the zones. I just don't want to fucking run 8K.
Well, here's the thought I just had. If you didn't want to change, and again, right now they're selling out faster than they can know what to do with. So it's like, why would we bother to do a rocks only day? But let's say it did slow down. That could be the easiest way to do it. Saturday is the whole rocks day, and Sunday we set up the timing mats different, and you literally just go station to station, like kind of like DEKA Strong, like just even if they're not in order, everyone still has to do them in that order, even if they're not 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying?
So CrossFit, hell yeah. So CrossFit, absolutely. I have nothing wrong with that. I'm down with that. That would be just like CrossFit.
But it's not. But it's not, because I was reminded of this key piece that I somehow missed this whole time. Right? What is about what CrossFit is like the varied, constantly varied, blah blah blah, whatever that language is, and that's the whole point of HYROX. Is it isn't. Yeah. So it's a fitness race. So you were right all along. Ian was right all along. Fitness race is really what it is. I'm still not changing the name of my company. We are Hybrid Fitness, and it's going to be fitness. But it is
so many people identify it as whether they call it fitness racing or hybrid.
But that's what it is. A fitness race, right?
Everybody identifies it with a hybrid athlete.
So
they won't waste valuable Sunday.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But at the point that it comes that they're not selling out everything, and they're like, okay, day one, like I said, with the running, or vice versa, right? Or Wednesday or Thursday, just the stations, and we kind of set up a couple different mats and see what you can do. And yes, then it's essentially a WOD, right?
Yeah, but what if, and again, we say that HYROX doesn't have time on their regular events because they're already selling out. What if you did smaller events in smaller venues and allowed, again, your affiliates to run these and support the affiliates, and then you have those there, and you don't need the giant running track, so you can.
For a company that already really struggles with consistency, that would be a big trust one, right? Yeah. That's like you'd have to really, right? Because you and I know there'd be some gyms like the ones that are commenting on this show, and then some gyms would suck at it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But that's where you gotta at least have some management view it, right?
Well, view it, but like you and I have talked on this very show.
Yeah.
About this was the first one in Canada, and we missed a few. This is where we missed a few places. So that's a whole nother. Again, they're so happy that they've done what they've set out to do, which is grow a thing and create a new sport, essentially. And of course, CrossFit will say, no, we was already there. It's like, well, all exercising was already there, so it's like nobody owns that. But literally, what they put in their post about the shoes, right? And that they said it like as kind of like fact, like we've done it. I've made it. I posed it more of a question about HYROX, the shoes, right? So the brand appears to be positioning this as a potential first step toward creating a dedicated product category, like the Nano and the Metcon, right? So that's it. Nano and Metcon did not exist when I was growing up because nobody needed to do. You see what I'm saying? So to create a HYROX specific shoe, you've done a pretty good fucking job of creating.
Yes, fantastic. They've done a fantastic job.
So they're too busy just like doing all that to think about changing the fucking format.
Yeah, see, I don't want to change it. I want to add to it. And the reason I'm saying add to it is we all know that if you in business, if you're not growing, you're going to shrink.
Right.
So they have to constantly be moving on to the next thing, constantly be
Right.
upgraded.
So we're 5
that's
years
what I'm
away
saying.
from those things.
That's what I'm saying. Are they at the point where they need to do that? I don't think they're 5 years away, but I don't. Maybe now is not the right time, but I don't think 5 years. I think if you keep running this for 5 years, and let's say it stays exactly as it is right now for the next 5 years, I think it will decline.
I don't know, man. I mean, I'm like I said with Khalip and those guys, you can't compare this to OCR because it's miles ahead in so many ways.
I'm not comparing it to OCR.
But I'm saying in the idea of like, well, it kind of peaked and then a lot of people aren't doing it anymore. I just think they're selling so many tickets to this fucking thing. They don't know what to do with it. And they're just far away from thinking like in a couple of 3 years, whenever that is, that they go, all right, we're not selling out in, a day, a week, or a month. How can we get more customers? Oh, let's launch a new thing.
And that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying that's not 5 years away.
You don't think that's 5 years away? Listeners, chime in. All these great people chiming in. Rye, Yeadon, Houston, Texas, Zach Tate. How many years before you think they slow down? Air quotes.
Yeah. It won't be 5.
New York was sold out in like 8 minutes, dude.
Yep. And it still will not be 5.
Okay. But tell me why you don't think it's going to take that long.
Why? Because what we're getting now, and we had it in Toronto, we had 88% of the people were first-time racers.
Right.
So you've come to the city, you've done that. You might get that another 2 or 3 times. You're going to get a lot of first-time racers. But then eventually you're going to have to start counting because a lot of people are just doing it as, hey, this is my adventure. I'm going to go try it. I'm going to get away. I'm going to do it. But then are you going to keep them as repeat customers? And then you're going to run out of new customers, so you have to keep repeat customers.
But everybody wants to beat their time. So that's like the thing. They do come right back.
But it will drop off.
And that's where Spartan missed out, was like there was no beat your time.
Agreed. But
there was, can I get a trifecta? Now I did that, but there was no, right? So Houston Texans says 3, Pinnacle says 3.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. 5 is too long. 5 would be too long. Same thing for 5 years won't be too long. And you say right now that it's so amazing, it's this. But how much did it change in the past 3 years? And that's how quickly it can change the other way in the next 3 years if you do not keep on top of it and keep improving. And I'm not saying they have to change events, but they have to keep improving. They have to keep giving us, even the diehards, reason other than beat our time to come back. Because eventually, a lot of us are going to say, okay, we've peaked. I'm not getting any faster. It's just not going to happen. I've done what I can.
So that was my question. So Cheryl is saying
exactly what Cheryl just said.
And that's what I said. I just think that's not for a while. Like I come in as a pretty fit guy, right? I do my 115, right? 110, 106. I'm doing some doubles. And yeah, at some point that kind of peaks. But that's still in Toronto, that's once a year for 4 years. 3-4 years. It's a long time.
Yeah, not 5.
Okay, so we're going to put this little time capsule because
I like the 3 years.
Because if it's one thing we've learned, Dave, is that I am not going anywhere and neither are you, right?
Yeah, and
so we get to revisit this.
Everything lasts forever on the internet.
Well, no, I'm just saying that. I'm just saying that
no, I mean, what we say lasts forever on the internet. Someone will find it.
So this is the 24-25 season. So 25, 26, 26, 27. The 27-28 season, you think will stop selling out and they might need to start looking at changing?
I think it will slow.
Okay.
I'm not saying they'll stop selling. I think it will slow.
Glenn says 4. Welcome, Glenn.
Glenn Race. Nice.
Maybe we should get him on the show at some point.
Oh, Glenn's amazing, man.
Because so far, every time we look at the numbers, it's gone up and gone up by a lot. And at some point, it'll be, ooh, this was 100 people less than the year before. The first time it didn't double or whatever. I'm actually working on my amazing report. That's the only thing I worked on over the holidays. I found some. Listen, you know me, Dave. I'm not a big guy in coming soon, but HYROX was in fact called something else, and I found it, Dave.
HYROX.
Yes, I found old rule books. I found old pictures. I found old web pages. They're in German, and I'm putting together a whole history of HYROX. Nice. And yeah, it's nothing. It's a rocket ship, right?
Yeah.
Everyone's saying 3 or 4. So basically 4.5 would be the line, right? Because I'm saying over and you and everybody else is saying under.
Totally take under 4.5. Totally.
Okay.
And the deal is they're just not selling out as quickly. And that absolutely. By 4.5 years, they will have to start doing something a little bit different.
DEKA will be ramping up in the next 20 years.
There you go. It's a slower build. It's a slower build. It's like building muscle. Slower build, it lasts longer.
But DEKA will have already launched Atlas Ruck, co-ed teams underwater, right?
Oh, I hope not underwater. Atlas Ruck, as someone who did it, I don't know that I recommend it. But yeah, so here's the other question for HYROX then. At this point, if they are selling out, we're having 3-4 day events, right? Constantly. How and we're saturated in something. How did they continue to grow?
Put more races in India and China.
Yeah. I guess.
I mean, OCR never really cracked over there. They put on races, but it never like blew up the way they thought.
Well, it did in China. It did in China.
I don't think Spartan puts on that many races a year in China.
Well, I mean, if you look at the kids championship in China, had like 10,000 kids.
Yeah, but that's not the races themselves. Only had like 3,500 people, and it's not like they put them on in like every city. No. Yeah. It's not Pyongyang and Shanghai and Bangkok.
I'm impressed. I could not name that many Chinese cities.
Well, you're not a world traveler, Dave.
No, I am not. It's not road trip.
But India just sold out. I think Shiraj. Did they say Shiraj just sold out?
They better have swamp coolers there.
You know what I just remembered?
Yeah, Zach Moore in Canada. Yeah.
You know what I just remembered, Dave? We forgot the one thing we were going to kind of talk about. Do you want to do that?
Nah.
All right, we'll save it.
Yeah, I think it's better safe.
All right.
More in Canada. Okay, Zach, I'll ask you, and Matt, I suppose you can answer too if you really want. If you're going to have one in Canada, where do you put it? I mean, where else do you go in Canada? Where's your next place? Because I say Calgary. If I'm going somewhere, I'm going to Calgary. Even though Montreal is kind of seems obvious, I just think it would do really well in Calgary. I think they have that culture. They need it.
Are there like, do we know, is their fitness community as big as Toronto or whatever?
Yeah, Calgary's got a good fitness community. Now, generally it is a little more associated with outdoor stuff, right? But it is in the wintertime, it's so cold there that I think it would do well.
TT Sports asks, are you going to HYROX Berlin? So that was just announced today. The airport is back. The fastest times known to man, the one lap course,
sold out quickly,
is back. I would love to. If I landed on a pot of money tomorrow, because I think it's in my birthday month. I think it's April. I want to say, hey Siri, but they won't know yet. Let's look at this. Yeah, HYROX Berlin.
That event will sell out fast because there'll be so many people wanting to get a top time.
Also, I just watched. Did we talk about Band of Brothers last time?
Nah.
All right, it's really good. It really holds up. I hadn't seen it since it came out, and there's just so much history in Germany. May 16th, May 18th.
Yeah. I think wouldn't it be cool, like the ultimate kind of swerve, if they get the Germany thing going and everybody signs up expecting this fast course, and then they make one with 4 laps instead,
just to fuck with people.
I would find that very amusing. Vancouver, see, Dean, I don't know about Vancouver. I don't know if it catches well as it would in Calgary.
I mean, Dave, they're doing a race in fucking Sharjah, however you say it, right?
I don't know much about that place,
but it's sold out. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's why they have so much room to grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can keep going to new cities. I know, but yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry that I'm so bullish on HYROX, and it's not just because
I love HYROX. I'm not bullish on them. I'm just saying that eventually you have to shift gears a little bit, because you can't just keep going and saturating the market and hitting every city, and eventually it'll start coming. If you stop going to cities like New York and stuff like that because they're not selling out faster, and you go to the smaller cities, and that's going to be perceived as declining, right, rather than growth. You'll be perceived as getting desperate. So you have to kind of keep evolving.
So Shiraj is in the UAE, and it's in the northern whatever here. It's south of Iran. So, like, again, I would compare, doing OCR out there. They get a couple thousand people, but they don't sell anyway. I just think it's crazy.
Well, I would rather do
Zach votes Quebec and Dean votes Vancouver.
Yeah, which are both very logical choices. But I'm heavy on Calgary. But if I'm like over in Saudi, I'm rather doing a HYROX and an OCR anyway, because I'm inside and it's air conditioned. I don't want to be outside doing OCR.
Right. And apparently they're like, every time you talk to anybody over there, they're like, oh, fitness is taking off here in a huge way.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like how many people how many people do they have people that compete like that make regionals or whatever? What's their version of regionals over there? Where do they have to go? The CrossFit regionals.
Oh, and the
Middle East, who do they compete with typically?
I have no idea. Either the Europeans or the I would think probably the European market. I don't think that, like they say, it's blowing up, but I mean, when you think about games athletes or high-end CrossFitters, I don't think too many of them are from the Middle East.
But again, I think it's because it's newer and like people don't always train for it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I guess who knew that I was the most bullish person on HYROX on this entire call, and who's in the chat.
All bullish on HYROX. We all are big HYROX backers.
I'm the most bullish though. I'm buying stock and holding on to it. I am HLD my HYROX stock. You guys are ready to dump it in 3 years.
Yeah.
So TTT says I get to do a HYROX mixed doubles with her once in a lifetime. That's a pretty good offer.
That is a good offer. Who would you like to do a doubles with? Keep in mind, like, you'd actually have to run it with them, though.
Like, I don't know that I've thought about it that way. Like a dream partner, or just like a friend. Like, honestly, I want to run with my wife, which I'm going to do. I want to do with my buddy. Yeah. I want to do one with my buddy Clayton. Which,
because I mean, I wanted to do a DEKA relay before, and with like an elite, and I did it with Tara, and I regret it wholly. Like, she killed me. So I mean, you got to keep in mind, if you're doing a HYROX with somebody impressive, you got to keep.
Well, listen. Well, Cheryl and I are doing one together, and she's going to push me in just the right ways. And Dave, give you a quick fitness update. My wife is officially training now. She got her NASM, and now she's starting to get clients, and that's where she is right now. And I'm like, hey, honey, why don't you write me a program, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm using the resource at my disposal right here. And this is, my accountability buddy, I want to shout out. I asked for some online, and I got my buddy, Scott Longley, who I've done a couple of races with.
There you go. Yep.
And listen, just having the person doesn't necessarily have to work, because you can just as easily not do it. But it works if you work it, as they say. And I just, like yesterday, I did not feel like doing it. I did my run the ATL earlier in the day, and I just messaged him, and I was like, hey, I got to get it done. The gym closes at 7. And then I went and did it. And then I texted him afterwards. So my wife has me. We've got 3 days, right? Mm-hmm. Arm day, leg day, full body day. And it's, we're building muscle. So it's a lot of reps, lower weights, a lot of reps. And I'm getting stronger, Dave. I did a little flex in front of the mirror today. I got to be honest. I'm seeing results already. When you start out, you see results like pretty quickly, right? Before you taper off. So I'm very much, because like when I was working out before, just doing like my little DEKAs in the backyard, I just did them because I was just like, it was just like what I could think to do. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I never really like had any sort of program before. And so it's been nice.
So as most trainers will ask you, I shouldn't say most trainers. Well, yeah, they should. What is your goal, Matt? What do you hope to accomplish through this training? What is your goal?
Well, my goal is to build muscle.
I see. Okay. So I like to think that you should have a goal that there is an attainable number.
Yeah.
What is your attainable goal?
So I'm a big believer in that too. We call them SMART goals: specific, measurable
goals.
What are they? Specific, measurable.
I don't know what measurable I like.
SMART. Somebody type in what the SMART goals are. But right now, I honestly don't have any. Like I talked about the other day how, the weights are low, and I like get in my head about it, and like all these people looking at me and thinking I'm whatever. And of course they're not. They're looking at themselves. They don't give a shit what I'm lifting. But I'm fine with just doing what I'm doing. And then as we progress, in a few months, it might be like, okay, now let's move into something specific, right? Like, let's say, like, I want to, you know, be able to fucking, you know, I don't know, this many pull-ups or this, you know, this many pounds of ground overhead, like whatever. But I'm just building muscle right now and getting stronger, and it feels great. Like the most basic tenet of muscle building, which I forgot or don't think about because all I've done is run slow miles for a decade, is like you're tearing the muscle down, right? And that's how it builds back up. And so that little cue has helped me so much, because I asked my wife, like, why am I doing so many reps? And she's like, well, you don't want to, like, you don't want to stop and go back and come back to it. Like, you want to, like, rip those muscles. And so now I physically think of that when it hurts. Like when I'm on those last reps, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, and I think about the muscles ripping and how that's going to make me stronger. And it's been great. It's yeah, it's been great.
Good. That's awesome.
But at some point, I'll probably have a specific measurable goal, but I don't have one around losing weight or getting a certain amount. Maybe you could help me. I mean, I guess a race time could be a thing, because I can't even think about it in terms of like, I want to bench press, you know, 220. Like, I don't even think of it.
Yeah, I never have a goal like that. My goals are all like races.
Okay. So let's do that then. Let's do that after.
Talk to your trainer.
No, but I'm saying, but I think in terms of, in like, I can work with you on that and then say, okay, coach, my wife, this is my next goal I want to get. Can you help me get there? But I think someone like you, someone like Cheryl, people who do this sport could think of, I mean, I have to get a baseline, like, which means I would probably have to do a HYROX full first, because I'm only as strong as my partners, right? If I'm doing teams and doubles.
Mm-hmm.
Do a HYROX solo, then be like, okay.
But you could start with the baseline you already got. You did a PFT.
Oh, that's actually okay.
Right?
And so, like, okay,
you have baselines, you have PFTs, you have DEKA strongs, you have DEKA miles, right? And so you have your baselines if you wanted to pursue that. So you already have those.
I feel like I'm someone that like Helen Keller just learned the term water. Like, I'm so new to all this because I've never been a gym guy, as you know, that I'm just happy to be doing what I'm doing. I'm honestly just enjoying it.
Yeah, and then that's great, and that's awesome. But what happens is one day you stop enjoying it, and that's where they say motivation ends and your determination has to kick in.
Right.
So the motivation will eventually wane, and you'll have to have the determination. The determination is helped by having measurable goals.
Listen, as a good friend of mine, I encourage you to like keep asking me that question, because at some point it'll be an excuse. I don't have one, but right now it's not an excuse; it's real. But I do believe in. And
I mean, right now, if I was you, my goal would be I can't let Cheryl down.
That's a pretty good goal.
You know, it's I've teamed up with Cheryl, and I need to be there. Like, I actually have that written on one of our whiteboards. Is one of Riley's quotes is, "I can't let my teammate down."
Actually, that's really good. I'll grab onto that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
But again, like, you can have like if you're coaching somebody, right? Like, that's exactly what I would do. If someone said, well, like, I want to lose weight, I'd be like, okay, well, how much do you want to lose? I don't know. I just want to be skinnier. It's like, okay, well, let's, like, you can have goals like feel better about myself, but you can also have a goal that's lose 7 pounds. Like, you can have both. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
I just, for me, I mean, that's just like, I mean, I don't coach a lot of people, but anytime I do coach people, and if someone was to come to me and says, oh, my goal is to lose weight, I'm like, well, you need to talk to somebody else. That's not my deal. Right.
Well, so, can they still work with you and they can talk to somebody else about food?
I to be honest, I would be a horrible coach for someone who was after that goal as a goal.
But what if it was one of their goals? Couldn't you just say, listen, I'm not.
If it was just an incidental thing, sure, but they would need some other, like, I mean, yeah, because quite frankly, like I've told you before, all scales should be burned and throw away unless you need them to qualify for a weight class.
Right. But like, you understand right now, it's kind of like if someone said, hey, someone started running, you wouldn't necessarily be like, hey, we got to get your, like, I don't know, what's your 400 time or whatever. You just kind of would like, just start with like,
oh yeah, no,
stretching and like walking a mile,
run, like that.
Yeah, and that's
could be,
that's where I'm at.
I want to run a mile without walking.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at.
That's
it's like
attainable goal. That's what we're gonna hit.
Right, and that's kind of where I'm at. And so,
Yeah, see, Cheryl says, "Damn right, don't let her down." She goes,
I'm not going to let her down. I think that's a great thing. But and again, I do think about that. So part of, if part of my workout is cardio, I'll usually hit the rower instead of the treadmill, because it's like I think about it as race training better than just hopping on the treadmill. And yeah, I definitely think about like this is like what it's going to be like in a race. The rowers are weird in
Yeah, I think you said they
Planet
have
Fitness.
water rowers.
By the way, I need to clarify something, because Kevin came on here and said there's no free weights. I'm like, no, they have weights. I've seen. So there's the regular dumbbells, right?
Mhm.
And then I did realize, now that I've been down there and put some work into them, the bench and the squat rack, all those are the bolted on kind. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not cable machines, they're weights, but you can't remove the weights. You can't remove the bar from the weights.
Oh, like a Smith machine.
Yes, that's the word. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, so like I can squat,
Mhm.
but you can't it unlocks the little thing.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Right.
Yeah.
But other than that, they have everything. But I do need eventually, when I who knows how long it takes, but I get to the point where it's like, okay, now I'm going to start working on like getting better at all my stations, and I need to get a ski erg, right? So I'll probably have to eventually get a different gym. But right now, Planet Fitness is working out great.
My personal thing is, yeah, ski erg great, and I like it a lot, but I don't have one at home. I use a ski erg maybe once a week, if that.
Most of what once a week is better than like I'm only going to see it on race day.
I don't like, I can go a month without using it. I find once you've got you played on a bit and you've got your technique down, most of the fitness you get from the rower or anything else translates very well to the ski erg.
Oh, you know what else I learned? My ankles are not very flexible. Like, I don't know when this happened, because they used to not be so bad. But like my wife came with me one day, and we were like doing like some basic warm-ups, and she was like, roll your ankle. And like my left one like wouldn't really. I'm like, how can I not rotate my ankle? It's like saying I can't raise my hand. Like, how do I not? So now we're working on basic stuff like that, right? Like, again, stuff I've not really done. Like if I'm
mobility.
Yeah. So like, even when I'm lunging, like I'm looking down and I'm like really focusing on like push through the floor, feel those feet, like all that stuff, all those cues that like you need to do when you're not experienced. And that's what my wife's helped me do. So yay for me.
Yeah, that's good. It'll be great. I mean, just like it's like to say, it almost doesn't matter what you do. It's just be consistent.
Right. But I think I just think the difference between 40 to 45-year-old me, where I could literally it just kind of didn't matter, right? My body would bounce back pretty quick, and now it doesn't. Yeah, exactly, Cheryl. Yeah. Ankle mobility is built for wall balls. So that's what I realized. I was like, oh, well, no wonder I fucking struggle to shit with wall balls, right? I gotta do more work down there.
Yeah, and ankle mobility is at least something that I find very tough to improve. You really, really have to stay on it.
Yeah. And again, it's something that you don't ever think, like I never thought about. If people ran in college and whatever and do the same warm-up every day for the last 20 years, like it's not a big deal. But if you've never thought about it, which I never thought about it, then it's a thing.
How's the hip mobility?
Better than it was however many years ago, because I do that. Now I stretch. That depends on your judge. Because now I stretch, right, no matter what, and I constantly work on that. But now I got to add ankles to that warm up, right?
Because I mean, traditionally, your only exercise was running, and runners traditionally, not all, have poor hip mobility. I mean, you think back to Faye Stenning on the first HYROX, I think she run. They had to bring out the bucket because she could not get down to depth and squat.
Yes, never forget. Speaking of which, it's so funny that I didn't get a chance to listen to it yet, but I wanted to. But you talked about the VCF, right? The Invitational.
Yeah, the Invitational. Yeah.
And I had just gone through and writing this HYROX article and finding those old races, and like it's fascinating.
Well, like you say, you haven't listened to it yet, but
dude, you know that I forgot completely that Morgan was like third place in the VCF.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, I forgot completely. She was in the finals for that.
And Rachel Vonderak won the VCF. That's how she qualified for the Invitational.
Right. But I remember Lauren, of course. Right. And I remember that girl, Ashia. But I was like, oh, Morgan was in that. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah.
So what surprised you the most about that? Going back?
Yeah. Well, I mean, nothing surprised me. What surprised me was how much I remembered, like little details of stuff. But what got the idea together was we had seen a post with Rebecca Hammond training, with, oh my God, I gapped on his name, but it'll come to me in a bit. But training with a guy, and he's saying he's getting ready to go to Vegas for HYROX. So it was like, is Rebecca Hammond jumping back in? And so I talked to her very briefly. She said she's not, but she's not ruling out maybe doing it one day. And but she's just not there right now. But so that just got us thinking about, back on that invitational when she was just burst on the scene, when she was on the scene and she was dominant, and kind of went through kind of where everybody is and what they're up to and what's going, and just some of the differences from then to now. I mean, when we think back, like Lauren Weeks came third in that race, and ran like 106 or a 108 or something, like
not that fast.
Max Fennell, thank you, Rye. Max Fennell was who Rebecca Hammond was training with, and they just happened to be working out together. So
yeah, no, trust me, I did the same thing. I was like, "Hey, we gonna see you in Vegas?" No, it was very different athletes than we see today.
Well, yeah, but again, it was a publicity, right? Like that was for publicity.
No, but even wasn't Corinna supposed to be there, or she was there?
That one, I think she was in that one. Yeah, she was in that one. Yes.
But even her, like you would think, would still be around the sport, and she's not. She's just doing other stuff.
Yeah, she got big into the tactical for a while, and then she, and I mean, she's got her work with a nutritionist, so she's very busy, right? She dabbles in stuff every now and again, just jumps in.
I think she went all in on tactical. So Zach Tate says, if we put on a deadly dozen in the summer, will you come up? If you put on a full, like a track event, I'm very interested. I'm already looking at helping with some gym events down here in the South. Rose is looking to put one on. Rose Day is looking to put one on.
I like Rose. She's awesome.
A gym event. I will put that as extremely interested. I do like Canada, even though there won't be a series of HYROX fulls being put on in Quebec. I do like Canada.
He may do it. You never
know. I would love to do that. I'd like to partner with Dave sometime.
You want to partner with me on what?
I don't know, something.
Yeah.
You'd push me the same way Cheryl would. Like you'd push me in a good way.
Oh, you'd probably hate me.
No, that's fine. Maybe you wouldn't be as nice as Cheryl. I don't know.
No, I'm pretty laid back as a partner. I don't get too excited. Yeah. I'm usually I give my all, but that's but I don't get too excited. I don't get high expectations out of people. I just want them to try. That's all.
Yeah, well, I think you and I could have some fun at something. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, not a DEKA. You think you take those too seriously, but maybe you do a HYROX.
No, I don't. I have fun. I have great fun. Okay. I'm the one who come up with me and Bethany came up with the DEKA swingers teams, where you just randomly pick a name out of the hat to have as a partner. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Need a new name, but other than that, it was a great idea. I did enjoy that one.
Yeah.
I did enjoy that episode as well.
I think someone said roulette. We called it maybe roulette.
Yes, roulette is the much more politically correct name.
A little more politically correct.
DEKA roulette is a much better name.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I don't take them all. There's races, like I do certain ones I'll take seriously. Like when Juan and I race, we take it seriously. We're trying really hard. Same with Ryan and I, we give it our all. But even when I take it seriously, I'm like 36. Like I don't get like that. I don't get angry or uptight. I just try hard, and then I'm done. And then the results are the results. Who cares?
When's the last time you left, like, I don't know, pissed in OCRs or anything where like you mad at yourself or a bad judge call or anything?
I'll have sometimes there was a couple times with RX ones where I was upset about judging more on other people than me. Like other people I watched. I don't really know. I can't remember the longest time I left where I was legitimately angry. I've had times where I'm like, oh, I screwed up. I could have done better. For example, our mile at Worlds, we screwed that up totally. So, I mean, we were disappointed with ourselves, but I don't get mad about it. I'm doing it for fun. So, I'm doing it for fun, for joy. And if it's not bringing me joy and fun, why the hell would I do it?
I agree, but some people don't feel that way. What about the 24-hour rig contest? What about that one?
Oh, Platinum Rig, when we did the 24 hours?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that was fun. I was happy with that. That was great.
Oh, I thought that was the one that never happened. What was the one that never happened?
So there was one that happened, and then the next year there was going to be two. There was going to be one in Canada and then one in the States too. And the one in the States, was going to be the first time they offered solos, because the other one was team, but it was going to be solo 24 hours of
Right.
Essentially it's an 800-meter track of back-to-back obstacles.
Okay.
That I was going to do that, but that never happened.
Okay.
Sadly. Very sadly.
The only reason I bring that up is because I was looking for your email address so I can send you this link. And sometimes iCloud is just dumb. And like I type in Dave, doesn't come up. I type in ugly Dave. You're looking for the autocorrect, and it's ugly Dave at Hotmail. I should fucking know, right?
Yeah. ugly.dave@hotmail.com.
Don't everybody spam Dave. But I couldn't remember. Anyway, so then I put it in the search bar for previous emails, and the first thing that came up was like, hey Matt, I don't think this event is happening.
Yeah. That was a real shame, because the first one was awesome. It was really well done. So RIP Platinum Rig events. Maybe one day, who knows?
Do you guys even have Spartans anymore? What's left up there, Dave, for OCR?
Quebec is still booming. Quebec still has stuff. We still have Spartans. We have Mud Heroes still chopping along.
Mud Heroes still?
I admit I am surprised.
Okay.
I am surprised. But they're still clopping along, those ones like that, and little independent. But Quebec still has quite a few independent ones, and they're still going. They don't stop.
All right. Well, listen, I think we could wrap it up. I think this went great. We totally came without an agenda, and it worked out great.
The best laid plans of mice and men.
Next week is the 20th, which is a week before Vegas. We should do our Vegas predictions, or should we wait till the 27th?
That's when we should talk Vegas.
Well, Vegas, technically, we would be the 27th would be that week. But I think by next week, we'll know. I got confirmation on the Australian athletes today. Joanna, Jess, JK all coming. So I got that part.
That's awesome. I had heard that it's rolled down to the 18th spot for the women.
Okay. All right. Zach says he's definitely doing a full. Dave.
I would totally do a deadly dozen. That'd be awesome.
Dave, you can check out. Why do you leave heartbroken today? Oh, does that mean
you're not going to Germany?
I didn't say I'm definitely not going. Listen, TT, find me a sponsor that wants to bring me to Germany. Find me an amazing German sponsor that wants to bring me. I will do so much amazing content. I will make it worth their while. Listen to Dave every Thursday on the OFX podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes. Ontario and Quebec are sold out all the time for Spartan. Yeah.
All right. See you later.